chronically ill. It means to be weak. It means to be feeble. Check out this next line. To be without strength. To be powerless. So far what we have is restore to health, give therapy to those who are without strength, give therapy to those who are powerless. Let's look at the next one. Cleanse the lepers. Now that's deep, because in your Strongs you'll see that there's one word for that whole phrase. Katharizo. That's how it's pronounced. Katharizo. Now that's some deep stuff, because look at what it says. Cleanse the lepers means to do what? Purify yourselves from wickedness. Wait a minute. What is wicked about a leper?
Come on now, come on.
Think with me. What's wicked about a leper? In the biblical perspective, when one came down with leprosy, their skin turned white. Yeah. Here it's actually called wickedness, right in the biblical text. Cleanse or purify yourselves from the wickedness of this kind of leprosy.
Yes, sir.
Consecrate yourself, black man, black woman. Consecrate yourself by cleansing or purifying your environment. Now, listen, y'all, I know that we're in a bad situation. How in the world do you reverse? How do you undo? For example, when a black man has married a white woman, or when a white woman has married a black man because they didn't know any better, to be honest with you, and you come into right consciousness, how do you undo that? Look at the person next to you and say, you stuck in a situation at that time. You will have a hard time carrying out this part of this verse. Consecrate yourself, dedicate yourself, but you gotta do it by purifying the wickedness from among you. Raise. Now the whole phrase is actually raise the dead, but let's understand what the word raise means. That's why I said definition is very important here. Raise comes from the word egero, which means to awaken someone. Wake them up and then raise them up. It ain't enough to just wake up. You got too many black folk who are awake, but they're still laying down. Yeah, bro, Ray, I listen to you every Sunday morning. Yeah, man, I'm learning so much from you. But what you doing with it? Not enough to listen and learn. You gotta get busy. Become productive. Yes, stir up against one. Raise, here's getting good now, the dead.
Yes, sir.
Who are they?
Uh-oh.
Are we talking about people here who's not breathing?
No, sir.
Dead in this verse comes from the word necros. It's the root word of where we call today necromania or necromancy. Whenever you see N-E-C-R-O, you know it's got something to do with dead. The dead in this verse means those who are destitute of life, without life, inanimate, destitute of force or power, inactive, inoperative. Those people who listen and learn and become armchair revolutionaries.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. You know you can count on me. Call me on the phone and tell me you with me. You know, we got to get busy, man. This movement is serious. And you ain't came out your house yet. I ain't talking to y'all, evidently you're here. Talking to y'all is watching me right now. Ain't came out your house yet. You got a nigger mentality. And you need to get rid of it. Cast out demons. I ain't get to demons yet. Let's just deal with cast out. The word ekbalo. Now notice what this is. Look at the person next to you and say, this means we ain't got time to be playing. To cast out means to drive out. To send out with a notion of violence.
Yes, sir.
This is where the warriors have to come into play.
Yes, sir.
Because see, some of y'all ain't violent enough.
That's right.
Some of y'all say stuff and folk think you don't mean it. Because of how you say it. You know, you can, see, in the Marines we learned something about put on your war face. Any ex-Marine here know what I'm talking about? Yeah, put on your war face. See what I'm saying? And that wasn't a pretty sight either, to be honest with you. But when you walk up to somebody with your war face, they know you mean what you say. Even if you can't whip them, they think you can. That's the power of a war face. Drive out with a notion of violence. Ekbalo means to deprive someone of the influence that they exercise in the world. Ekbalo means to lead someone forth or away somewhere with a force which they cannot resist. I remember, and I don't say this with glee, we had a brother came here one time, and security told him he had to sit in the back because he had already tried to attack me at the radio station. And they said he had to sit in the back seat where they could watch him. He said, no, I'm coming. I need to go down front. I need to sit right in front of Dr. Hagins. So, of course, I guess all kind of historical events start going through their mind. And they said, no, you can't do that. So he proceeded through the door to come down front anyway. And security ekbaloed the brother. I'll never forget that day. They picked that brother up at the top step, and he didn't touch anything but that door with his head until he was outside. Now, I don't say that to boast. What I'm saying is, that's how you have to deal with the devil. You hear what I'm saying, people? You can't be playing with it. And that's what this is about. It's just not saying cast out everybody. Cast out devils. That's what the verse says. Who are devils? That word is pronounced daimonion. What does it say? The messengers. You mean the devil got ministers? Huh? The devil got ministers? Yes. Ordained. Licensed. With robes. In churches. And mosques. Thank you. And temples. Yes, the devil has ministers. And how do you find out who they are? You don't have to be judgmental. Look at the person next to you and say there's a difference between judgmental and discerning. God wants you to exercise discernment. Not only God, I want you to exercise discernment. I want you to sit back and have enough Mama wit. They're like them old mothers used to have. I see you, baby. You ain't fooling me. See, we scared to say that now. I used to hear that when I was young. Them mothers would tell it like it is, man. You know? You ain't fooling nobody. I mean, they just come straight out and tell you. And it wasn't being judgmental. It was called discernment. Cast them out. Raising the dead, brothers and sisters, the necros, is not without its rewards and its consequences. You know, I tell you, y'all coming all the way here from Ohio, that's a reward. That's a reward. I mean, that is so encouraging to me. It is so uplifting. It's strengthening that you would come from such a great distance, you know, and those of you, whoever else is visiting, even here at the African Village, the fact that you are here, it is encouraging to me. To me, that's a reward. Your presence is a reward. But understand, along with rewards come consequences. Here's how it goes. The reward is appreciated from those who have been raised from the dead. Let me say that again. Those who have been raised from the dead are the ones who show appreciation. But there's a consequence for raising the dead, y'all. Everybody in here who wants to raise the dead understand there is a consequence. The consequence for raising the dead is neutralization from those whose oppression is stopped. You see, much of the world exists and it flows on its oppression over the oppressed. When you set people free, you remove power from the oppressor. Somebody who got John 11:43 through 53, somebody turn it right quick. John 11 chapter. It's too much for me to type. I type with 2 fingers. Can you believe that? I went all the way through postgraduate work with 2 fingers on a typewriter. You know I spent a whole lot of nights up, man. John 11:43 through 53. Now, of course, this did not happen historically, but there's a lesson to be learned here. What does it say?
And when he thus had spoken, he cried with a loud voice.
He cried with a loud voice.
Lazarus, come forth.
Lazarus, come forth. Now, some deep stuff, because this story was stolen from ancient Kemet. And we read where Osiris, Horus, raised Lazarus from the dead, which became Lazarus in the Bible. They steal everything. But that's another lecture. What happened? Lazarus! Lazarus, he who was dead. Lazarus, he who had begun to stink because he was dead. Lazarus, he who had become impotent and immobilized. Lazarus, he who the rest of the world say ain't no good anymore. Lazarus, come forth. Come forth. Come forth. And the text says that this dead man